Welcome to another installment of the Fort Valley Boys podcast. I'm your host and moderator, Fabian Vicks. I got my guy, Horatio, maybe Anatole, Mike, pop on a minute. What the deal is, Big Straw?
Oh, beautiful day neighborhood, sir. All well that ends well. At the end of another beautiful day.
So what we're gonna do, we're diverse in the show. We have a lot of people that have experience in reading sponsors. So this is part of the show. I'm gonna let Ryan take over the sponsorship.
All right. Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, sponsored by Fort Valley Boys is sponsored by Crazy Straws. If you want the straws, you want them crazy. Hey, I'm the CEO of Crazy Straws. You want the straws, you want them crazy. NBA playoffs, we got your colors. Hey, if you are a WNBA fan, we've got your colors. Hey, Crazy Straws, you want them crazy? Get you some Crazy Straws. Hey, Fort Valley Boys Podcast, y'all need to join us. Y'all need to check this out. Fort Valley Boys Podcast, Sundays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Wednesdays primarily on the sports week. Sundays, we're going to take a look at a little bit of sports, but mostly pop culture. We're going to go back on some of their movies. You like Trading Places? You like Coming to America? You like Child's Play 1, 2, or 3? Hey, you want to review them and just get a good laugh? Come on Sundays with us. That's when we do our pop culture. Fort Valley Boys, Sundays, Wednesdays, 9 p.m., Facebook, YouTube. Hey, Fort Valley Boys Podcast is presented by Just for Men. Just for Men. If you want that Beijing black, ladies and gentlemen, you want to keep it like you was 20, but you know you rocking 60, go ahead and get that Beijing black. I don't need it. Hey, I don't need it, don't want it, can't do it. As Mike Singer say, can't do it. But hey, if you want it, go to your local Walgreens, Walmart, CVS, and beauty supply stores. They got it in your color, just for men. We're also winners. Sponsored by Dax Wave and Groom. Our co-host Michael Atwater has had waves since 1994. Michael Atwater is a bald man, ladies and gentlemen, a bald head man. But look, I tell you what, he still got waves. He used that red can from Dax Wave and Groom, CVS, Walgreens, the local beauty supply store. Get the red can, Dax Wave and Groom, ladies and gentlemen. Damon's new podcast, Chopping It Up. Damon's new podcast, Chopping It Up, ladies and gentlemen. Support Damien. Hey, we missed you, Damien. Support the Patreon page, Chopping It Up. Look it up. Follow, view. And we also brought to you by the smooth, refreshing, and diabetes-giving Arizona tea. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, Arizona tea, 98 cents in Walgreens. If you want instant diabetes, if you want to be on the amputee list, get you some Arizona tea. If you want to be like Wilford Brimley, get you some Arizona tea. Arizona tea, Walgreens or your local supply stores. Hey, Arizona tea, 98 cents, still there. Follow us on Facebook at the Fort Valley Boys Podcast. Follow us on YouTube, Fort Valley Boys Podcast. Like we said, Sundays and Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Bernard Ingram has a really good thing going. BuyANiceShirt.com. BuyANiceShirt.com. If you in one of the Divine Nine or you happen to go to a historically black college or university, go to BuyANiceShirt.com. You can get your stuff from Fort Valley. You can get your stuff from Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Morgan State. Hey, whatever you win, I'm sure he got something for you. BuyANiceShirt.com, ladies and gentlemen. And also, our favorite sponsor, Henny, Coke, Crown Royal XO, and Ginger Ale, the dark liquors.
Bringing in a staple of the Fort Valley Boys, one of the founding members of the show, also a candidate for a defensive coordinator position for the University of North Carolina when Bill Belichick goes back to the league next year. We have Horatio Major Jr. with us on a shot. What to do?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Gentlemen, what's going on, Shot Major?
And coming to the stage right now, we have the guy that danced in front of his kids at his school. We're not gonna talk
Doing the
about what he looked
stinking
like.
leg. Do the stinking leg. Do the stinking leg.
What's up? What's up, fellas?
What it do?
My guy
I want
Walter,
to
Big shot. What's up, bro?
you got it.
I want to do a quick pivot right quick before we get to the NBA. We had some breaking news about close to about an hour ago. Jim Irsay, the owner of the former owner of the Indianapolis Colts, who um, inherited the team from his father, passed away at 65. Any thoughts on that before we move on?
Rest in peace.
Yeah, I think he is one of the people that you didn't hear about until something happened. He was one of those owners, one of those CEOs, as they labeled him. Um, that I guess he tried to do things the right way, except for when it came to the Jeff Saturday move. I think that's where he took a lot of heat for that. That's the most recent thing. But he had a lot of things to fall in his lap. One Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, with Peyton Manning. And then he had Andrew Luck there. Uh, Still a good franchise. It was almost forgotten at one point, and he you know good from everything I've heard, good person, except for that little thing about the nepotism. Outside of that, rest in peace, Jim Irsay.
You want us to say something, Fave? I mean,
Shot, you had anything? Or we before I go? I know it's breaking. You might. I know it's breaking news, so I just want to get your quick thought right quick.
Yeah, I saw it. May God be with you. But when he called you, the amount of money you had, that's gonna save you.
Say that.
Bars.
Of course, his dad dealt with substance abuse. He saw that as a child, and for those that deal with mental health and all that type of stuff, there's two ways it can go. Either to shield your child from it, or your child's going to eventually get to that. And Jim dealt with that a lot. In an interview with Real Sports, a show that I missed really badly. Did an interview with him a couple years ago, and admitted he was in rehab 15 times.
Hmm.
If you went to rehab 15 times, you literally have something it's not taken. I don't want to sound crass when I say that, but it's not taken. And what type of therapy and what type of rehabs you went to for you to go 15 times?
The
Um,
wrong kind.
the wrong kind, yeah. Um, don't want to get too counselory on this, but needed some type of cognitive behavior therapy to try to break that cycle because that's part of a generational curse. We don't know what his children, who his daughters who going to inherit the team, is going to be transferred into their name. How they're going to respond to this, but condolences go out to him. And one of the biggest moves you guys probably agree with in his ownership tenure is the release of Peyton Manning in 2012.
I agree. I'm not saying what he did was right there, but I understand.
Yeah, the neck injury for Peyton, he still dealt with it in Denver, but that's when you have an opportunity to get Andrew Luck, you cannot keep Peyton Manning. You just can't. And you had a generation. You had if it wasn't for the 5 years in a row where they kept getting 1 year starters, he had possibly what Green Bay had with Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to right now Jordan Love. He could if Luck would have stayed healthy and he would have built offensive line and had a little bit more weapons and a little bit more consistent coaching. You would have had Peyton Manning and still had Andrew Luck right now. But other than that, he's a polarizing figure. He has some philanthropic endeavors, but substance abuse really took a hold of him, and he was found unresponsive, I believe, a year and a half ago, and
Mm.
stepped away from the team a little while. So it's sad that somebody lost a father, somebody lost a granddad, somebody lost a friend. Of course, I don't know if his mom is still alive or whatever. I would highly doubt that, but I wouldn't be surprised if she is. Somebody lost a son, and It's sad. It's a sad day for the Colts family. Peyton, Andrew. Look at Pat McAfee, he does this show out of Indianapolis. So it's a tough day. We just our thoughts and wishes go out to his family and the Colts family in this time of bereavement right now, and we just hope the best for y'all, and we'll go on from there. NBA Conference Finals. That's a hard term, but the NBA Finals started last night where Oklahoma City Thunder beat the brakes off of Minnesota. They had a lead early in the half, early in the second half, but SGA started cooking with some grease. Started cooking with some grease on in the second half.
Get that man his flower when you mention his name again. Get that man his flower.
Oh, the Flowers. He finally won an MVP, even though I think he should have won it last year. But this is the finicky thing about the MVP voting. Y'all guys tell me this. If Russell Westbrook could average a triple-double, but James Harden averaging 37, but Westbrook win the MVP? Then SGA, I think he only had less than 15 games scoring under 30 points, I believe. Every game is 30, because he averaged 32 this season. And Joker averaged a triple-double for a center and led his team in all. Of course, you lead your team in all three categories, and he was in the top three in all three of those categories. Got second place. The voter was, I think it was 71 to 29 in first place votes. So that's what took over the edge. I think he won 917 to 784 in total votes. We'll get to the MVP part later on, but that game last night, Mike, do you see Minnesota even having a chance in beating OKC if they play like that?
Hey, man, just one game. I don't think too much about it. I think honestly think the NBA, the media, they want New York and Minnesota. They want New York because it's a big market, and Minnesota because Edwards is trying to be one of the faces of the NBA. But I'm not gonna read too much in that game last night. We'll start talking about series over and this and that if Minnesota don't win tomorrow night. But as long as they got Edwards and Randall, they're gonna be all right.
All right, go ahead, Straw. Then shot.
I just thought it was. I think just it's one of them things where, like you said, SGA got cooking. SGA get cooking. I mean, it's hard to stop that young man. Now the thing is that Minnesota gonna have to play better. They're gonna have to play a little better. And I'm like, I go into that camp with Mike. This is just one game. It's telling a little bit, but that's where they play 7-game series. So I can see Minnesota pulling this thing out if they play. I mean, Julius Randle been there, been deep had some deep playoff runs with the Knicks, I think. Gobert, he's with Utah, stayed in the playoffs with him, and Donovan Mitchell, even though they didn't go very far. The X factor right now is, can Ant-Man pull him kicking and screaming to an NBA Finals appearance? So this is real interesting. But yeah, I was surprised, but then I understand. So we'll see what happens. Game 2, game 3. See if we have a different discussion.
All right. Shot.
I'm sorry. We got a little long-winded, but what was the question?
You think the series is pretty much over? Minnesota and OKC.
No, I don't think the series is over. Okay, because you was asking about the MVP at first. No, I don't think the series is over. Pat Riley once said, and it still sticks out to the day, the series don't start until the visiting team win. So, all they did was win game 1 on their home floor. It's still one game, so it's a whole lot. Lot of games need to be played. But I think Anthony Edwards needs to step up. I think they're trying to crown him as the best in the game right now, and I just don't see it. I don't see the consistency to be considered the best in the game, and you're a superstar. but in the playoffs is when you become a megastar. And I'm not seeing that right now. I'm seeing a really, really good team that feeds off him. If you look at the stats and you look at their wins, they've won several times in the postseason where he hasn't played his best game, where he hasn't even been the best player on. I don't say he ain't been the best player on the court. That's a lie. He hasn't been the leading scorer. You know, he definitely makes an impact, but you know, I think we need to take a step back and before we get ready to just hand him that throne right now, because he got too many dud games in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's going to need to take more than 13 shots a game. He's going to need to take 20, 25, and he's going to have to score about 35 for this team to have a chance, because he's the most explosive scorer on the team, probably most. We look at the stats, more consistent scorer. If I'm wrong, Mike, I know you're going to correct me on that. Oklahoma City goes 10 deep. In playoffs, Mike, you play AAU, you coach AAU, you tighten up that bench in tournaments. You might go 7-8 if you're lucky. OKC goes 10, and all 10 of those players make an impact. They make an impact whenever they play, and they showed that in the second half, because all 10 that play, they play defense. And it's gonna sound crazy, but I think that the additional Alex Caruso makes a big difference for this team. When he won a championship with the Lakers, he's a big burly guard who held his own with Joker on Sunday afternoon against Denver. Isaiah Joe, you got the Jalen Williams guys, you got Hartenstein, who's giving you some girth, and you have Chet Holmgren, who's right now really still a pup. When you think about it, to me, he's like year 1.5. This is what, third year, because he missed his first full year with the Liz Frank injury. Ant's gonna have to score 35. Mike Conley gonna have to give you more than 10. Julius Randle's been playing some good ball since coming to Minnesota, especially the last 20 games going to the playoffs. Julius Randle's going to have to give you 25, and you're just going to piece together everything else just to have a chance. But
that third scorer from Minnesota going to have to step up, and that's going to be Dante D coming off the bench. That's their third scorer. Gobert is not a offensive-minded type guy. Jaden McDaniels in there to guard your best perimeter offensive player. Mike Conley, he's up in age. Dante D going to have to give him some production off that bench. They had guys last night for OKC that got 9, 10, 11 points off the bench. Cason Wallace comes off the bench for OKC. He played 33 minutes last night off the bench. Like they like Faye was just saying, they go deep. And when I say deep off the bench, they go deep, man. But that's the system that they bought into, and it might take them to a championship. Like, this is their best chance of getting a championship since the Westbrook, Kevin Durant, and Harden days.
Yeah, Minnesota best player on the team need to step up. Point blank period. He need to step up. He need to make some more shots. And I'm not talking about Anthony Edwards. I'm talking about Julius Randle.
Hold on. Oh, you said Julius Randle's the best player on the team?
Yeah. Look at the numbers.
Yeah, more consistent. You don't think that's a product of Anthony being on the team, or you just think he just found his niche and is more healthier this year?
I mean, in my opinion, Anthony Edwards has the best hand, and if this was spades, he's continuously messing up a good hand because he got all the cards. But you keep messing up. You keep cutting your partners out, cutting books. Like, look at the numbers. Julius Randle is averaging one less point than him at 24 games. He's averaging 25. 2 games ago, he's got 7 turnovers. The most consistent person for Minnesota is Julius Randle. Remember when they played OKC? I mean, not OKC. When they played Golden State, it wasn't Ant-Man. It was Julius Randle, and then it was Jaden McDaniel. But Julius Randle been the most consistent person of all in the whole game. The most talented player is Anthony Edwards, but the best player on the team right now in the playoffs is Julius Randle.
Let me bring it to this point right here on this question. I know there's some complaints about SGA getting a lot of foul shots, but I think that's just the fact that he's crafty and he's aggressive and making ref make the call. And I know Minnesota had an issue with that because at the beginning of the press conference when they played last night, the first thing they looked at before they said anything looked at is free throws. Minnesota, you're inconsistent on shooting threes. You got Ant, you got Jaden, you got length and size. You guys need to take it to the hole. You know, because the Lakers series you shot terribly. You might have had one good game in Game 4, but all the other games y'all were struggling from three. And I heard a stat today: Ant Edwards from the mid range is shooting 7%. SGA 47%.
You mean like Carmelo Anthony 7? Like the number 7?
The number 7. And with SGA, he's shooting 48% from the mid range. And I'm talking about just these playoffs. Just these playoffs.
Right. Okay. Understood.
Let's go ahead and pivot to the Knicks and the Pacers. I'm gonna pull up their score right quick.
69, 62 at the half.
All right, I guess the Knicks still up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the Knicks could keep up this scoring with the Pacers? Because the Pacers can take it to 120, 130 easy.
I think that's probably where you're gonna have a little bit of a problem right there. I don't know if they can do that. I mean, Brunson is a great player. Don't get me wrong, Pat's great too. But I don't think they can do it. They gonna have to get out in front and play some decent defense and hold on. But if it get into a track meet like that where they both scoring and Halliburton and his guys get to doing their thing, man, it may not be like that. Right now, what you say, 69, 62, Mike?
Uh-huh.
So it's already in that we gonna see. We finna see. We about to see right now.
Mike then shot.
I mean, bro, the Knicks got their whole starting group can get you 20. Like, let's be real about it. Brunson is an all-star. Towns has been an all-star. I don't remember. Has Mikal Bridges been an all-star before?
I don't think so, but I can pull it up.
Has Anunoby been an all-star before?
Of course not.
You know, they got 2 or 3 all-star, and it's like this. In high school ball, you got to have some dudes that can play college ball. In college, you got to have some dudes that can play in the league. And when you get to this level in the playoff, you got to have all NBA type guys. The Knicks have it. The Knicks got at least 3 or 4 all NBA type guys that they, as far as talent and the starting group, they just as good as any of the 4 teams that's left. And what we about to see, man, what we're seeing in the NBA is parity at its finest. Remember, 6-7 years ago, we could predict who was going to be in the NBA Finals when Cleveland and Golden State. We automatically knew that those 2 teams were going to be there. You hadn't seen pretty much the same 2 teams in the NBA Finals in the last 5-6 years, except for Boston. Boston, out of the last 5-6 years, is the only team that's been in the final, let's just say since the pandemic, only team that's been in NBA Finals twice. Parity at its finest in the league right now. Any one of these 4 teams can win it all. There's not one clear favorite with these 4 teams. So and I love it.
Oh, Mikal Bridges has not been to the All-Star game. Go ahead, shot.
About what?
Can the Knicks keep up this scoring pace with the Pacers throughout this whole series?
No, because they got Tyler, they got Jalen Brunson. Cat is a bucket, and then the rest of them dudes out there is clumsy. I mean, OG is off and on, but they should be able to, but they can't. They can't keep up with the Pacers the way them dudes. They're in the right city, Indy, because that's the Indianapolis 500. Shout out to them light skinned dudes led by Tyler Halliburton. They can't keep up with them. They can beat them, if they play some defense and slow them down. And one thing about New York, and and I even saw this when they was playing who did they just beat them when they was playing Boston. Even when Boston blew them out after hitting all them threes, I was telling Vet, I was in Warner Robins at the time. I was telling Vet, I say, man, Boston can't beat these boys because New York gets every rebound. They get every rebound that come off the glass, but they didn't get up. They end up tying rebounds with Boston that night because Boston couldn't miss from the field. But if you look at the games, they wipe the glass. So as long as if New York can wipe the glass, that's cool. But Indy run up and down the court too much, man. And Cat don't have no stamina whatsoever. No stamina. That wasn't an earthquake. I just hit the keyboard. Cat don't have no stamina whatsoever.
Yeah, the Pacers is another team that could go deep in their bench. The Knicks goes maybe 7.5 deep with Robinson, McBride, and Campaign, who's a walking foul. I think he had 3 fouls before they brought Jalen back in the 5-minute mark in that game. Campaign could get you 4 fouls or 20 points, and more than likely he's going to get you 4 fouls, which is why his minutes are limited in these playoffs.
He's hard.
He had some moments against the Pistons.
He's the only person I've ever seen that travels while dribbling. That's how uncoordinated he is.
Good gracious of life. Man, put the phone down.
Right,
So
he travels while dribbling. That's a good
walk and say excuse me all day because he be about to fall and hit people.
And he had the same issue when he was with Phoenix on that finals run. Let me not say title run because they didn't win it. They wet the bed against Milwaukee 4 years ago. They had them down 2-0 and Milwaukee just blitzkrieged them in the last 4 games. Too much Giannis and Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton at the tail end of his prime. Do we see the series going 7 or do we see Knicks in 5? I hear some folks saying Knicks in 5. I don't see that because I think Indiana's going to wear them down with their bench. Do we see this as a long series or do we see this as a short series?
I think potentially Indiana. I think it's going to be Indiana OKC in the final. Like I say, the NBA right now they are rooting for the Knicks.
I'm with you, Mike. I see Indiana and OKC, but I know for the brand, they want that large market team, the New York Knicks, to do it. They haven't been to a final since Ewing and them against Elijah Wan and them guys.
Nah, man. Last time they was in the final was like 99. That's the strike year when the Spurs won their first one. Avery Johnson and them boys.
Okay, well, they ain't been since then. It's been almost 26 years. So this is what they want.
What? Who want what?
This is what the league wants, I think, for that large market team in New York to make it to the finals. I think that's what the league would want.
Oh yeah, listen. If OKC and Indiana make it to the finals, throw the whole league away.
Those two small market teams. There won't be
no revenue sharing. Like Ply say, ain't no revenue sharing, bitch. Ain't no revenue sharing. Nobody trying to go out the OKC unless I don't even have a joke for OKC. There's no joke for OKC. It's Oklahoma. Like, do y'all know what a Sooner is? It's a mixed breed dog. There's nothing in OKC.
Nothing at all.
Except for tornadoes. That's about the only thing. Tornadoes. In the middle of Tornado Alley. That's it.
Baker Mayfield's still the best dancer in OKC right now.
Yes. Yeah. I saw that today. I did see that today.
OKC. And Indiana. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see Indiana. I can see the league getting behind Indiana. Indiana, the birthplace of basketball. I can see that. But it's still, that's not the team you want to go. That's not the New York Knicks. That's not your LA Lakers. That's not your Boston Celtics. These are your flashy names. It's not them. So You know, now if Reggie Miller if Reggie Miller was still playing for Indiana, maybe because he has a sort of a draw. That team has sort of a draw, but this one, times have changed. Times have definitely changed.
The only reason why Reggie Miller had a draw because during that time it wasn't but 12 channels on TV. Back when Magic and Larry was playing, it wasn't but 4 channels on TV. When Larry when Reggie Miller came, it was 10, 12 channels on TV. You had HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, but they ain't really have no good movies, and it wasn't no other channel. TNT, ESPN. They didn't have West, East, North, South, Gay, Straight. They ain't have none of that. Nah, they got a whole bunch of channels. Don't nobody want to see Indianapolis. I'm just telling you. The ESPN Deportes, they got all that. They don't want to see Indiana.
Hey, let me ask this question though: can you turn yourself into a bigger television market? For example, the Chiefs have turned into must-see TV. Are they considered a big time TV market now? Golden State.
I think it's a better sports town more than it used to be. You know what I mean? Because they've always had, back when George Brett and Bo Jackson was playing for the Kansas City Royals, that was some good TV right there. And before, like Shot just said, when my man Hank Stram, when he was coaching there was one team, there was 3 channels. So that was the last time they had actually been relevant in football. Now, and they're in the midst of a dynasty, so to speak. It makes that sports town better. That's what it does. It makes that sports town better. Makes your viewership go up, but I don't think it's on that same level as your Boston, LA, Chicago, New York type.
All right, Faye, what we got next, big dog?
Yeah, next topic for you, what you had on here, Mike. Take this part over for me. With the All NBA teams.
So, man, the All NBA teams now, traditionally, up until last year, you had to pick 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center to come up with your All NBA teams. And your All NBA teams, that's how they kind of, came up with who get these max deals and all that kind of stuff. Well, after last year, the All NBA team is positionless now. So they're basically taking the top 15 players in the league for this season. So on this right here, I think the first team All NBA this year, y'all agree or disagree, I think it's gonna be SGA, Giannis, the Joker, Anthony Edwards, and Jason Tatum. What y'all call?
I can see it.
What you think, Shot?
Say it again.
My predicted first team is SGA, Giannis, the Joker, Anthony Edwards, and Jason Tatum.
Okay, I'm putting mine in the chat.
I wonder if there's a slight possibility. My second team, I'm going Jalen Brunson. I'm going Steph Curry, Donovan Mitchell. I'm going Cade Cunningham, and I'm going Steph Curry.
Did you say Steph twice?
No, I said Brunson, Cunningham, Donovan Mitchell, Curry, and Durant.
Oh,
That's
okay,
what I'm going second team. That's my All NBA second team. And my All NBA third team, the last one, I'm going LeBron, Karl Anthony Towns. I'm going Devin Booker, Jalen Williams from OKC, and Sengun from Houston. That's what I'm thinking on the third team All NBA.
So looking at shots list, y'all on the differ on the point on the first team.
So if you look at mine, I did put a point guard out there. I know
That's where y'all. That's on the place y'all differ.
No, he got Annette was on the first team. I don't.
Oh, okay.
You got Trae Young.
I think Trae Young was the best point guard in the game.
Trae Young should be on the All NBA, one of these teams, bro. Like Trae Young averaged 24 and 12 this year
Exactly.
for the Hawks. But he's not gonna make it. He won't make it.
Why not?
He should make it, but he won't make it. It's one of them kind of things. Number one, Trae Young barely made the All-Star team. He was not voted in, but he was a replacement player for, was it Dame? I forgot who he was a replacement player for, but he barely made the All-Star team. Secondly, Trae Young ain't somebody that is the NBA really likes a lot. But third, Trae Young team didn't make the playoffs. Now I know you're gonna say, well, you got Durant and Booker. Well, Durant averaged about 27 and Booker averaged about 25.
But
So
okay, so let me defend mine. So I think Trae Young, if we talking numbers, is the best point guard in the game. Like you said, 24 and 12. And when we talk about point guards, the only other three that would even be in this conversation is the Halliburtons and the Jalen Brunsons, and then big game Dame, who didn't have much big game, but he was still Dame. And that's about it. I mean, you want to talk about Steph, find a position for him. So I look at Trae Young, obviously SGA, that's the MVP. Tatum did more than Anthony Edwards. If you look at numbers, Tatum did more than Anthony Edwards as far as points, rebounds, assists, steals, things like that. And then of course Giannis and Joker, there's nothing to even talk about with that. Second team, I got Halliburton and Edwards. Good call on Cunningham. He filled the stat sheet. People sleeping on Cat. Cat was a monster this year. He shedded that soft label. He's still a crybaby, but he shed that soft label and he dominated down there. He did. And then Donovan Mitchell is just a walking bucket. Now third team, we can start talking about Steph, LeBreezy, Unc Braun. We can start talking about them dudes. But for my top, my first 10, them guys, obviously Jalen Brunson will be in that second or third group, depending on what you like. And then we can debate the rest. The third team to me is where the debates come in.
I don't know if Trae Young is the best point guard in the league. He definitely, I think, in the top 5. If you look at point guards, Young, Halliburton, SGA, Brunson, Curry, what you call De'Aaron Fox? Is he a point or 2? Like he's up there, but I don't know if he's the best in the league.
With the Spurs, he'll be an off because you got Chris Paul starting. Chris Paul was the one. And De'Aaron's playing off the ball. Now, I see what Shop coming with Trae Young. I think SJ is the point on this team, but he can facilitate, but he's more of a scoring point. More like Steph is a point by, I guess, traditional traditional measures or whatnot because of height or whatnot. But I can see Trae Young being first or second team because of his stats or whatnot.
Yeah, I don't. That 5, I think, right there, I just mentioned, I think gonna be the first team. I can see Trae Young getting on one of those teams, but he's not gonna be on the first team.
So who would you put on the third team?
My third team, I put Jalen Williams from OKC, Sengun from Houston, Towns, LeBron, and Booker.
Did Booker even play enough games? That's the next question. They got that 65 game minimum. I know LeBron played 70.
Trae Young should definitely be on there.
Yeah. Okay. I got KD. Hold on, let me go to my list. I'll put it right here too. I'm gonna put it on here.
What you think about them 3 teams, Fade?
I can see who shot going with Edwards, but I think what they're gonna try to do is use the top 5 MVP votes as their first 5. But if you go by positions, which I think all NBA teams need to go start being positionless.
They I said that. They are
Yeah.
positionless now.
You know, and that's the thing. I understand that that's the era we live in right now, but I really don't like that. I really think that when you are a point guard, you need to be a point guard, and that drives that. You know, when you don't make that one of them 3 teams as a specific player, it would drive you to be on that team, one of them teams that next year. So this positionless basketball really throws. I mean, it literally throws all that out, and you just pretty much just like Mike said in the beginning, your top 15 players based on numbers. Hey, okay, yeah, it make it easy for us, fellas. It's almost like AI did it. And that's it. You know, it just I miss the old days of point guard, point guard. If you the best point guard, the best 3-point guards, wham, wham, wham. Hey, I didn't make it. Let me get back in the lab, work on some things. I'm making one of them teams next year. There's a driving point if you look at it that way.
Well, but you got to look at it too now. We sitting here and trying to figure out what position Steph Curry played, what position De'Aaron Fox. A lot of these players, that's how basketball is. You
Right,
got
I get that because I
we
get
don't
that because
even
we
know
still
who
don't know what position Luca play, and you
we
know,
don't know who, like right now. Let's just go back to 1995. We automatically knew who the best 3 centers were. We knew who was the best power forwards and all that. We don't know who played what now. The
right,
Golden State Warriors start a 6'6" dude at center now, Draymond Green. So this positionless basketball, we don't know. We
right.
I
I
don't.
don't think
mean,
it's positionless. He's just
it
short.
yeah.
He's
I mean,
still
it used to be. You know, we used to put everything in a box, right? We used to be able to put everything in a little box. You know, you 5'10" to 6'3", you're a point guard. You 6'4" to 6'7", you're gonna be a shooting guard. Maybe if you 6'7" and can handle the ball, you might be a small forward. 6'7" to like 6'9", you're a small forward. 6'10", 6'11", maybe 7 foot, you'll be a power forward depending on where you play. And 7 foot and up, you definitely in the middle. You definitely in the middle. I mean, like how Luca what 6'7", and they
Yeah.
classify that man as a point. So I mean, I get what you're saying. I agree with your point. I'm just saying I just miss the old days when it was more defined. But I mean, that's just the evolution of the game. That's just the evolution of the game. No debates here. No debates here.
I don't buy the positionless basketball because I think Draymond still does what Jack Sigma did when he was with Milwaukee. Get the hell out the way. Ain't no different. You know, what's the difference? So he's no different than Rodman, a power forward. You know, they
the
do
thing the
it's only
thing with
one ball.
Rodman and people like Draymond is that okay? They knew they weren't going to be the best scorers. They knew they weren't going to be this and that. Hey, well, you know what? I'm going to go out here and make this game gritty and dirty, and I'm going to out hustle everybody, and I'm going to make all the loose ball plays. If I had to put, since you brought this up, if I had to put Rodman against Draymond, give me Rodman. He does more, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, that's all day. What y'all think about my the last guy on my third team All NBA?
That's Franz Wagner.
Yup.
You got a case. He definitely got a case. He was top 15 in the league in scoring, averaging like 23, 24 a night. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I can see that. The one thing that makes it interesting for these all these awards is the games played, and it makes us look and see if these guys played enough games. Like I didn't realize, I thought LeBron missed more than 12 games this year. I know he missed 7 at the beginning of the year, and I know he took a couple games off later in the year, I think because it was growing. I didn't think he would be eligible, but he is because he played 70 games. Devin Booker played 75. KD, I might look at his again because he's deserving, but the way this collective bargaining agreement has changed, forcing guys to play, you want to get that super max or whatnot. So Kevin Durant wouldn't be eligible. Shot, he only played 62 games.
What about Booker?
Booker played 75.
Then I'll swap them.
Yeah.
There's no way I would put both of them on there, and I didn't. There was no typo with me leaving Luka off.
Yeah, he ain't played no games. He missed about 2 months, so yeah, he wouldn't be eligible.
He played no defense.
No, he ain't played no game first. Let's start the game first. Then
that boy couldn't slide his feet at a Diddy party.
Oh,
all right, we want to thank you for watching the show tonight.
That's a good one, Shot. That's a good one, Shot. Give it to him. Get that man his prop. Could slide his feet at the Diddy party. We had to
with our spring college football. Wasn't that the last one?
Yeah, spring ball.
Well, over there at University of Georgia, man, Georgia look like they're gonna have a quarterback battle going into the fall with Pulaski and Gunnar Stockton. They not sold on Stockton, and it looks like it's gonna be a battle. In the offseason, Georgia did get one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country coming in next year, Jared Curtis. Just personally, Fade, when it comes to Kirby, I think he kind of has fumbled the ball on getting these 4 and 5 star type quarterbacks. Georgia been successful. They won that championship, but I think he kind of fumbled the ball when it comes to these big time quarterbacks. He hasn't really done well with these big time quarterbacks. He won a national championship, 2 national championships with Stetson Bennett. Was he even a 2-star? I don't even remember.
So say that right there. Stop right there. With that being said right there, Mike, what you just said about Stetson Bennett winning a national championship and 2, not 1, but 2 national championships. Is it really Kirby fumbling, or is he saying, hey, if I put pieces around this guy, then I can still be successful? I don't necessarily need, I will recruit the 4 and 5 star guys, but I see with Stetson Bennett bringing me 2 championships, I really don't need the 4 and 5 star guys. I can get by with a 3.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something about that.
False.
Yes, he had enough talent around him to win them national championships, but don't get it mixed up. You got to have a big time quarterback to win you a championship. I don't care what level you got. You got to have your big time. Stetson Bennett, he just stepped his game up and was able to get Georgia there with the talent he had around him. But don't mix it up now.
No. I
need
get
a
what
big
you're
time.
saying.
If you look throughout history, Cam Newton's a big time quarterback. Jameson Winston, Tua. You Joe Burrow. You got to have some of them guys to win your national championship, in my opinion. And I just think Kirby has, I don't want to say fumble when it comes to the quarterback position, but it just ain't been turning out well. Look what they just did with Brock Vandagriff. Brock Vandagriff done retired. He done with football.
He went to, that 1 year in Kentucky, he got injured. You got people that do that. Let's take this look back at what you're saying. I agree with you. There has to be, it all starts with the quarterback. But in the case of the first championship that Georgia had, there was a knock 'em, rock 'em, sock 'em, put your in the dirt defense that helped him on both sides of the ball. The other side of the ball, it was good. He had running backs. He made the right plays, made the correct throws that they needed to make, made the right plays to win championships. But they were hanging their hat on defense, right?
Yeah, well, hang their head on defense, and you won. You won the
Right.
championship.
You had enough offense, but you had dominance on the other side of the ball. So I agree with you, but I think your logic is kind of is good. It's there, but I really think the phrase "defense wins championships" means more than just having a superstar quarterback. Let's see what Arch Manning does his first year starting. Let's see how far this goes.
Well, let's look at Ryan. Let's look at Kirby history with them quarterbacks. Okay, Jake Fromm led you to a national championship. That was a 4-star. Justin Fields was a 5-star that left. Brock Vandegrift left.
Man, forget
Carson Beck was
Justin
there.
Fields don't deserve to be on that list. That he didn't even play enough games. But anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
That's my point. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
That's the point I'm trying to make when it comes to quarterback. Now, I'm a Kirby fan. I'm a dog fan all the way. But, and maybe Ray Show and Fade can chime in on that. When it comes to the quarterback position, you, with the exception of Stetson Bennett over the last 15, 20 years, all these do you realize all these players that Georgia had drafted, all these wins, Georgia only got one quarterback in the NFL that's done something. Matthew Stafford. That's it. That's crazy. They've had 45 players drafted, and I think they said like the last 4 or 5 years, and you got one player at that quarterback position in the league that's taking snaps. Come on, something's up with that. Like,
So I mean, you got
we need to get into, like, I need Georgia to get into that mindset of how LSU was that 2019 year offensively with Jefferson and Chase and all them. I'm not trying to compare that, but Georgia needs to step it up offensively if they want to continue to win that championship. But I'm gonna let Fabe and Rachel jump in on that.
Justin Fields.
If you ever put your mind to it, y'all can have Dylan Raiola.
Yeah, I forgot about him, but we can't count him though. Don't count him. He never came.
No, I'm not. I'm saying you could. You say you could have had him if you put your mind to it. You could have had him.
So, here's an unpopular take, and I think Jared Curtis, and Michael even said it, there's some question marks on him as far as his level of competition. They got him as a top 5 quarterback. I don't think he's top 5. I do think he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks. I don't think he's a 5-star quarterback. That kid out of Texas, both those kids out of Texas, they spinning the freaking football. And I think Kirby gonna have to, I guess he doesn't want to pay these kids, but you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to at some point. Georgia won 2 national titles with Stetson Bennett. One of them, in my opinion, the football gods, wanted them to have it, and in the second one, they definitely took it.
Yep.
But let's not forget. I don't want to say forget because you don't want to sound crazy because they won it. But for the football people that remember when both wide receivers went down when nobody could cover them, but then but I'm saying that because yes, you can win with a Stetson Bennett when you have an all-world defense. Like even the people that talked about Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter did not even realize what Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter would be in the NFL right now. So think about how they were in college when right now they're dominating in the NFL from like early on. When you get guys like that can just disrupt the game, and you got both of them, you want a good quarterback, but you don't need a 5-star quarterback, and that showed. So unless you, and that's even with saying there's still been 2 more first rounders drafted from that Georgia D line, and they still ain't up to the level of Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. They still not as good as those guys are. Shout out to Mike Trigg and his son. As good as those guys are, they still not at that level. So yes, you can win with a 2-star with the equipment manager, because that's what I called him a couple of years ago. I called him the equipment manager. You can win with that if you got those historic guys on that D line. If not, I think it's going to be a problem, because the quarterbacks that I've seen come from high school to college, like that boy that's going to Alabama right now, that boy gonna be a problem. That boy gonna be a problem. That boy that's at Michigan right now, he gonna be a problem. But not as much as that boy that's going to Alabama. That boy that's going to Alabama, he gonna be a problem. Cause son, I can't remember his name, but he out of Texas. Both of them are actually problems.
Yeah, all I'm saying is I was gonna bring that point that you brought up, shot that those two championships, the Alabama, the Georgia won. One of the top two wide receivers, they won by double digit, but when you don't have any pass catchers with a Heisman Trophy quarterback, but at the same time, Georgia defense stepped up in that game. No excuses, but Alabama should have won that game. You beat the brakes off with TCU. You had no business in the national championship game because next year you went to bed the whole. You had no business. That's like that game was like.
Hey, thanks, Michigan.
But yeah, if Georgia want to be successful, you're gonna have to pay. You got to pay. Anatole said, "How could he have Raiola? He went with his uncle. Yeah, he went with his uncle. But if Kirby would have opened up that wallet and say, "Hey, Dylan, I need a quarterback. I need you here. I'm gonna give you 3.5 million, 4 million, whatever it takes to get them there. You need at least 3 years, and then bring somebody in after that. You have to open up the pocketbook because you got a mechanic, you got a pharmacist." You have I don't know what you got at quarterback, and that you only go so far. And Gunnar Henderson?
Gunnar
Stockton. See, I don't even know the boy name. I don't even know his name.
I'm just trying to figure out why is it okay to talk about NILs with these players, but when Miami get a player, then it's all NIL. That's what I'm trying to figure out, because when this offensive lineman said he was coming to Miami, then it was, Miami just paid him. We ain't gonna even talk about NIL before NIL. We ain't gonna even talk about that.
I think that has more to do with what happened with Carson Beck going down there than it does with just the athlete going down there. Because, when Carson Beck left, all of a sudden you're seeing pictures of the Lambo. He had it Georgia. He did have it in Georgia. But then you see the twins and all. We don't know what other NIL this man done got. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to say that because it's recruiting. It's recruiting, still recruiting. We don't know what this man done got. It's just one of them things where it may have been a couple of 100,000 more because he was hard at Georgia. He was going to Georgia. He had signed.
Who was going to Georgia?
And then not
the tackle. That tackle, that kid Kentwell.
Okay.
2 weeks prior to that, he was the boy came down here with his mom and dad for a weekend and ended up staying 4 days. His agent is Drew Rosenhaus, who's based in South Florida. He talked about how Cristobal and Maribel been recruited. He came down for a visit last year and watched the football game. Then when he said, "I've seen enough, I'm ready to commit," Oregon and Georgia got back in the picture and asked him to reconsider. Now, how do people think they got him to reconsider when he was already thinking Miami? You think he just said, "Oh, okay, I'll just come on a visit," or they paid him to come on a visit? So let's just say Miami gave him 2.5. What do you, and they were the highest bidder. What do you think Georgia's bid was? It damn sure wasn't $1 million.
No, it's probably 2. Probably 2. Probably 1.5. I'm just saying. I mean, we dealing in a different age than we were 10 years ago. I'm just saying. I mean, if you can do it, do it. If you can pay that player more, this is proved by Ohio State. If you can do it, do it. I'm not mad. It is what it is.
I'm glad you said that, because Ohio State spent $20 million on their budget last year, and they won the national title. Right. Again,
and that's what Miami's trying to get back to.
Miami spent $1.5 million on Cam Ward, and he sold out the arena every game. So I'm pretty sure they made that $1.5 million back plus some. I'm pretty sure Ohio State made that $20 million plus some. Word on the street is from a very, very reliable source that Jeremiah Smith would have stayed in Miami had they upped their ante a little bit more. Look how that turned out. So look how that turned out. So I think that, like, I just don't want to hear no more schools talking about, oh, the team went to the highest bidder, and act like we forgot how the Alabamas, the Ohio States, the Georgias, how the LSUs, how those teams actually started getting players from all over the country. And please don't bring that to me, because I used to talk to the players and they used to tell me, I told Atwater them years ago, you put Nick Saban and Alabama in the same room and you're going to get championship. Did I not say that, Atwater, 12, 15 years ago? That's a match made in heaven. So let's not act like we talking about, oh, they went to the highest bidder, like recruiting has always been just about recruiting. It's never been that.
Right. It's right now, it's never been that shot, but right now it's in your face with it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm just saying. It is what it is.
It ain't been in your face with it. It ain't been in your face.
No, I mean, it used to be in back rooms. They were handed, you know what I'm saying? Used to be in back rooms.
The money was back rooms.
Yes.
The money was back rooms. When you got Drake Kirkpatrick, who from the hood in Alabama, driving around in a Charger, and his mama in a Cadillac, and they from the hood, it's been in your face.
Well, it wasn't. It ain't. We can talk about it now. We can talk about it now. We can talk about it now.
I mean, just the thing about the recruiting though with Cantrell, it look crazy when you got a guy that's going from Missouri and he going to Miami. That's kind of what it looked. Just like, for an example, Will Wade over there at NC State. There's a lot of dudes transferring to NC State. It just NC State ain't one of them schools that people are knocking down the door to get to. So that's kind of what it looked like. But nowadays, you gotta pay to play if you want to win at this high level, man. I get what Kirby. I get what Kirby is saying. Hey, look, we want you to come here and work first. These dudes ask for the bread early, man. Early.
So when they say highest bidder, you think somebody outbidded Phil Knight?
They can't outbid Phil Knight.
Exactly. So at some point, when everybody got money, it ain't about the money. When everybody got money, if everybody on the podcast got money, then you got to do something else, because everybody got money. So who don't have $2 million? Georgia got $2.5 million, if that's what the number was. Now, if you want to say, okay, she ain't bad enough and I ain't gonna pay it, okay, then fine. But don't say I got outbidded, or he or she went there because of the money, because they ain't got you ain't got more money than Oregon or Texas A&M. If that was the case, Texas A&M would get everybody. Well, Texas is getting everybody. So come on,
we got to quit.
Arch Manning, you think Arch Manning went to Texas because of the money? Like Arch Manning need money?
No.
All right.
I mean, he's an anomaly though. We know his name.
Come on now, Rachel. You know that's an exception. You know good well. You know good well that's an exception.
Real quick before we go.
Every time a school don't win the recruiting battle, then it's because the other team outbidded us. It ain't got nothing to do like my dope producer. Hold on, I'm finna let you come in there, dope. Like my dope producer just said, we ain't gonna talk about development. We ain't gonna talk about the two best O-line coaches in the country. Nobody's gonna say anything if a quarterback say they want to go to USC and play with Lincoln Riley. Nobody's gonna open their mouth. But yet they ain't got the top quarterbacks in the country in the last 3-4 years. Make it make sense.
Look at Antonio right quick before we go. Go ahead, Antonio.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I love Georgia, but the kid picked Miami because they got two best O-lines in the country. I mean, we all dog fans, Mike. We couldn't run the ball last year. Stacey Searles had a horrible year. So the kid took the money, better weather, the best two O-line coaches. And with Dylan Raiola favoring, he was committed for Georgia all year last year, from the summer up until December.
Yeah, up to February. Yeah.
Up until December. And his uncle is a O-line coach at Nebraska. His dad played for Nebraska, and they kind of convinced him and the dad to stay and gave the uncle a raise too. So that wasn't Georgia's fault. That was a family decision.
That
So
was just
everything doesn't look like how it really looks. And then with the 5-star quarterbacks, we had Jacob Eason. He was rolling. He got hurt the first game. Had to put Jake Fromm in. Eason had the gips. He didn't kick back right. Y'all know the thing with Justin Fields. Kirby just not gonna play a freshman.
Justin Fields.
We can't get mad about that. I mean, Kirby just not gonna give a guy a spot. He felt like Jake Fromm took him to the championship. Let me keep playing Jake Fromm, even though
We
we
can't say
know
about a freshman call. Drake Fromm played as a true freshman.
because Jacob Eason got hurt, sir.
Oh, Jacob
Jacob
He
Eason
was
Eason
a
got
got
true
hurt.
hurt.
freshman though.
Jacob Eason got hurt.
I know.
Yeah.
So you can say Jacob Eason out for 2 months. So Jake Fromm had to play. Jake Fromm came back in and was starting. So you just don't give Justin Fields a job over Jake Fromm. That's not how that works. Even
Jake
though
Fromm.
we know he's
Jake
more
Fromm,
talented,
the
but that's not
first
how they're
game
gonna work.
Jake Fromm, first game his sophomore year, they lost to Boise State with them ugly uniforms.
That's not true. That was Aaron Mercer.
Jake Fromm, no, you
That
didn't.
was
That's
Aaron Mercer.
Sparky shit. You don't even know what you're talking about on that, Ryan. Jake Fromm didn't lose to no Boise State.
That was Aaron Mercer.
That was Aaron Murray with them ugly uniforms on.
Yes, sir.
Oh Jesus, they
I
must
mean,
have
That's
check
the
this
year.
out.
That's the year Georgia started off 0-2. They got beat by Boise State, got beat by South Carolina, and they went on a run to play in the SEC championship game against Bama,
And
and
lost.
and
Hmm.
lost right there at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, I apologize. I don't know why I thought Jake Fromm had them ugly uniforms on with the silver helmets. Lord
That was
Jesus.
Mark Rick, sir. The coach of that team, sir.
The question for me with Miami, and I'm gonna let Rachel comment, Anatole, Ryan, and Faye. Miami has been under the radar for years since their glory days. Last year, Miami had us hyped up. Miami had us hyped up. They were gonna go to the playoffs, and they fell short. So my question again, and Rachel know what I'm about to say to him. Me and him talk about this off the air. When is Miami going? And you got better chances now with the college football playoff. But when is Miami gonna get back? Like we expected this from them last year. They dropped the ball again. When is it
I
gonna be
think
that year for us, Fade? That Miami, okay, this is their year. Because we said it last year. Did we not, y'all?
Well,
Did we not say
I
Miami?
thought we thought Miami was going to be better than they were the
At
year
some
before.
point last year, Miami was like 7-0, 8-0. And I think they finished what 10-2, 11-2, 10-3,
10-2.
whatever the case may be. So we talk about Miami with their quarterback. We talk about Miami. Oh, this is South Beach. This is the best weather in the world. We talk about recruiting. Okay, when are they gonna get there? When is Miami gonna get? You let SMU get to the playoffs before Miami? Think about that now. The
So
last time
so
we talked
so,
about
so
SMU, hold on.
let's
The last time we talked about SMU, they was on the death penalty. We never talked about SMU with football ever, and they made the
Well,
college football playoff before Miami. I'm not putting Miami down. I'm asking the question: when are you going to get there? We
so
thought you were there last year. When are you going to get there?
they ain't show no progression. I'm just saying they showing progression.
They
The
didn't
past
win.
they went
three.
from
When has Miami? Name me the last time Miami has played for an ACC title or won the ACC.
so they played for ACC title 4 years ago, but when Cristobal got there, they won 5 games, then they won 7, then they won 10. So yeah,
What you
SMU
call
got
it?
there.
What
It's
you
SMU
call
got
it?
progress.
there.
It's called progress.
Yeah, SMU got there. TCU been there. Is it sustainable? That's the whole thing. Because ain't nobody. SMU ain't got nobody now. TCU ain't got nobody now. It's not gonna happen overnight. But listen, the name of the game is talent acquisition. That's the name of the game. Talent acquisition, and they putting people in the league right now. I've always said this. The NFL will tell you what kind of team you want. I didn't really care about getting to the college football playoffs. I mean, obviously I wanted to, but I didn't feel like they had the team to actually compete. Like they didn't have a team to beat Texas, to beat Georgia, to beat Ohio State. They didn't have that kind of team. But it's a progression. So we'll see what happened to them this year. Hell, Florida State was damn near in the playoffs, and they ended up winning 2 games last year. So I would much rather consistently win 10 to get there as opposed to win 12 and then the next year don't win but 2. It's a marathon. It ain't a sprint.
Yeah,
so we can wait. Y'all waited, didn't you? Didn't you? Y'all waited 8 presidents, right?
40 years.
Okay, so we can wait.
40 years.
We ain't got to that many presidents since our last one.
No, not that many. Just 3, maybe 4. Not like Georgia or the Cowboys, but
I've said this before. If college football not if college football is rocking now, but in order for college football to be hitting on all cylinders, the SEC, USC, and Miami with Florida State got to be the teams that people talking about. Period.
Those are the ones that move the needle. Those are the ones, the conferences and teams that move the needle. Period. Every once in a while, you'll get you a Michigan might move a little bit, but for the most part, those are the ones that are gonna move your needle.
So we'll see. All right, let's wrap it up. It's 10:30.
Oh, good God, I got 2 more days left of school.
Boy,
I got
tomorrow and Friday. That's it.
Yeah, out there. Our last day's Friday, but I got 15 days after that though. So.
Oh man.
But no cheering though. No cheering.
Yeah, it don't matter. It don't matter. 15 days is 15 days. Period. That's all about.
That 15 wake up, boy. Nigga don't want to wake up.
No, because
we're not done until June 3rd.
But the thing about me, see, I know I'm good at what I do. My schedules for my grade done. They were done 3 weeks ago. Now, if somebody come jack something up, then we're gonna have a conversation. But they done.
No, this is the week where I start having them hard conversations.
Talk about them teaks and leaks.
Yeah.
Hey,
we're gonna urge people to go to the portal.
Hey man, I'm out, man. They going to the teacher portal. My teaks is good. Great teaks. All 3s and 4s.
4s, you
might not be the best fit for you. Probably should go somewhere where you could be further developed.
You gonna really tell them? You gonna have that conversation with somebody this week for real?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a job. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm out, man.
If you get 4s, you don't need to be a teacher no more or whatever. You need to be an administrator if you keep getting 4s. You're in the wrong role.
I got 3s and 4s on my teaks.
Yeah, I've had that conversation when people said, and I'm gonna stir it up a little bit so it won't be able to come back and bite me. But I've given people 3s and 2s on a scale of 1 to 5. I've given people 2s and 3s, and they came and asked me, well, this is the lowest one I've gotten all year. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't think you were. I didn't see 5-star teaching, so I didn't give you a 5-star. Normally I get 5s. Okay, well, tell me what a 5-star look like to you, because that ain't what it looked like to me. And if I'm at a place full of 5 stars, then how come our record is 5 and 5? I'm gonna keep it football, right? If we got a whole bunch of 5 stars on the team, why our record 500?
It's supposed to be 10-0.
I said the same thing.
Hold the ship.
Right. I said the same thing years ago to Atwater about Texas. I said either the Texas players overrated or Mac Brown overrated. One or the other. Did I not say that, Atwater?
Yep.
So if we 5 and 5, I mean, we got all these 5 stars. Why are we 5 and 5? I'm looking at a whole bunch of draft busts. I'm looking at some Tony managers out here. I ain't looking at no Peyton Manning.
I'm out, Peyton. I'm going.
You did keep it a book because I can see you get 1 spot of 4 in 3s in the area to improve, but everything. My goal is to get all proficients. I'm not trying to be distinguished. I'm trying to make sure I do my job and all that stuff.
For 2 years straight, I've gotten 3s and 4s. I'm knock on wood, but I only got 3s and 4s on my teaks.
All I know is always way to improve. You always got to improve something or tweak it, and you can always nothing wrong with reinventing the wheel every once in a while. Nothing wrong with it.
I got to work on getting better, getting them IAPs in. Got to.
Boy, you play with 5. That's all I'm gonna say. You play with 5.
What?
Well, you get them in on time, you might get 4s and 4s and maybe 1 5.
You playing with fire right now. That's all. You my boy, but you play with fire right there. We're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna don't. You
Hey,
might
hey,
not
y'all
put
be
that up. Put
good,
that up.
man. It's
All
been
right,
real.
we out. We see you next week.
All right.